The blade was an inch from the queen's throat before I even understood I was moving. I did not think. I did not plan. One moment I was standing at my post near the north pillar, invisible the way a human guard is always invisible in this court, and the next moment my arm was locked around a Voss noble's wrist, holding a hidden dagger away from the queen's skin. The banquet hall went silent. Hundreds of alien eyes turned toward me. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it over the ringing in my ears. I am Owen Blake. I have served in the Ascendant Court of the Voss Dominion for 5 years, and in 5 years I have never touched a member of the royal family. Touching the queen without permission is a crime that ends in execution. I knew this. Every guard knows this. And yet my body had already broken the law before my mind caught up. The noble I was holding, a tall, silver-skinned man named Varon Doss, twisted in my grip, and hissed something in the old court tongue, a curse I did not need translated to understand. Guards from every corner of the hall rushed toward us, spears lowered, ready to cut me down where I stood. Queen Ithara raised one hand. Everyone froze. She looked at me for a long moment. Her eyes were pale gold, unreadable, the eyes of someone who has spent a lifetime hiding what she is thinking. Then she looked at the dagger still gripped in Varon's hand, and understanding passed over her face like a shadow. "Take him," she said, and for one terrible second I thought she meant me. But the guards seized Varon instead, dragging him toward the doors as he shouted that this was a mistake, that the human had attacked him, that someone should silence me before I could speak more lies. I said nothing. I never said anything in this court. Silence had kept me alive for 5 years, and I was not going to break that habit now, even with my hands still shaking. The queen turned to me. "You will come with me," she said. The court began to whisper before we had even left the hall. I followed 2 steps behind her through corridors of black stone and hanging silver lanterns, past statues of Voss emperors who had ruled 1,000 years before humans had left our own solar system. She did not speak until we reached a private chamber, where she finally turned to face me directly, something she had never done before in 5 years of me guarding rooms she walked through. "Why did you do it?" she asked. "He was reaching for a blade," I said. "I saw the shape of it under his sleeve." Many guards saw him standing near me tonight. None of them saw a blade. I did not have a good answer for that. The truth was, I had been watching Varon for weeks, the way he stood too close to the queen during court sessions, the way his sleeve always seemed slightly heavier on the right side. I had noticed because noticing things quietly was the only skill this court had ever valued in me, but I did not think she wanted to hear that a human had been studying the movements of her nobles like a hawk studies a field. "I was paying attention," I said instead. She studied me the way she had studied Varon's dagger, searching for a hidden shape beneath the surface. "Most of my court pays attention to their own ambitions," she said, "not to me." I said nothing. There was nothing safe to say. "You will guard my private chambers starting tonight," she said. "Not the outer ring, not the banquet hall, my door." I felt the floor tilt slightly under me, though I did not move. "Your Majesty, the court will not accept a human guarding your door." "The court," she said, "does not accept many things. It has survived them all so far." That was how it began. The following morning, the whispers had already spread through every corridor of the palace, like smoke through a burning building. A human, standing at the queen's private door. A human, who had dared to grab a noble in front of the entire court. A human, who the queen herself had chosen with her own voice. Lady Cyril Vantos, one of the queen's oldest advisors, stopped me in the hallway outside the throne room. She was old even by Voss standards, her silver hair long enough to brush the floor, her eyes sharp despite her age. "Do you know what you have done, human?" she asked. "I stopped an attack," I said. "You have made yourself a target," she said. "Every faction in this court wanted Varon Doss removed for their own reasons, and now they will wonder if you are a tool of one of their rivals. No one will believe a human acted alone out of loyalty. Loyalty is not something this court understands." "Then I will have to teach it," I said, and immediately regretted how it sounded. Too bold for a guard, too much like a threat. But Lady Cyril only studied me for a long moment, then walked away without another word. 3 days later, someone tried to poison my morning ration. I noticed the faint bitter smell before I drank it, a smell I recognized from a briefing years ago about substances that could stop a human heart within minutes. I did not eat that meal. I said nothing about it to anyone, not even the queen, because I did not yet know who to trust, and silence had never failed me before. That evening, standing outside her chamber door as I now did every night, the queen stepped out unexpectedly and found me still awake, still alert. Hours passed when my shift usually ended. "You have not slept," she said. "I am fine, Your Majesty." "You are lying to me." I looked at her, surprised. In 5 years, no one in this court had ever accused me of lying, because no one had ever cared enough about what I said to check. "Someone tried to poison my food this morning," I admitted. Her expression did not change, but something behind her eyes went very still and very cold. "Who?" "I do not know." "Then find out," she said, "and tell me everything you learn. All of it, no matter how small." That was the moment something shifted between us, though I did not fully understand it yet. She was not asking me to guard her body anymore. She was asking me to be the one voice in her court that would tell her the truth, unfiltered by ambition or fear. Over the following weeks, I began to see the palace differently. I noticed which nobles avoided eye contact with each other, which ones smiled too widely when discussing Varen's imprisonment, which servants carried messages between chambers late at night when no messages should have needed carrying. I reported everything to the Queen, quietly, in the few private minutes we had each evening. She began to talk to me too, not just give orders. She told me about the weight of ruling a court where every smile hid a calculation, where trust was a currency spent so rarely that most nobles had forgotten how to offer it honestly. I told her, carefully at first, about my own life before I came to this court, about a home she would never see and a family who believed I had died doing something ordinary and safe. I did not realize how much the court was watching us until Lady Cyril came to me again, this time with real worry in her voice instead of warning. "There is a group among the nobles," she said, "who believe the Queen has lost her judgment. They plan to use tomorrow's ceremony to prove it, publicly, in front of the full court. How? They will force a confrontation. They want to see if her human guard will break, will fail, will prove that trusting you was foolish, and if you fail in front of everyone, they will use it to question everything she has done since Varen's arrest." I understood then that tomorrow was not just another ceremony. It was a test, one built specifically to embarrass the Queen through me. The ceremony hall was full the next day, every noble family represented, every eye fixed on the Queen's private guard standing near her throne. Partway through the formal proceedings, a group of nobles loyal to Varen's family stepped forward, demanding the Queen release him, claiming his arrest had been based on nothing but the word of a human who could not be trusted. One of them, a broad-shouldered noble named Dresk, turned to address me directly in front of the entire hall. "Tell us, human," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "what proof do you have that Varen carried a blade that night? Or did you simply decide a human's word was worth more than a noble's honor?" Every eye in the hall turned to me. This was the moment they wanted, the moment my silence would finally break under pressure and prove I was nothing more than an animal pretending to understand their world. I did not break. "I have his blade," I said, and held up the small silver dagger I had kept hidden since the night of the attack, evidence I had quietly preserved instead of surrendering to a court eager to lose it. "It carries a maker's mark from a smith in the lower district, a smith who will confirm who commissioned it." I did not act on a word. I acted on what my own eyes saw and what I later proved. The hall fell into stunned silence. Dresk's confident expression faltered. The Queen rose from her throne. "My guard has shown more honesty in one evening than half this court has shown in years," she said, her voice carrying across the hall without effort. "If any of you still doubt his loyalty, you may bring your evidence forward as he has. Until then, this matter is closed." No one spoke against me again that day. In the months that followed, the court slowly changed the way it looked at me, not with full acceptance, but with something closer to caution and respect. Nobles who once ignored me now measured their words carefully in my presence. Lady Cyril began greeting me by name instead of simply calling me human. The Queen never explained fully, even to me, why she had trusted a silent guard on that first night. But one evening, standing outside her chamber as the palace lights dimmed for the night, she finally gave me an answer close enough to the truth. "Everyone in this court wants something from me," she said. "A title, a favor, a marriage, a war. You have never once asked me for anything." "I did not think I was allowed to want anything," I said honestly. "Perhaps that is why I trusted you," she said. "You were the only person in this entire court who had nothing to gain by lying to me." I did not have an answer for that, so I said nothing, the way I always had. But this time, her small, quiet smile told me my silence had finally been understood, not as emptiness, but as the one honest thing in a court built entirely on noise.